Welcome to this edition of Talk with Taz. I'm your host, Dr. Teresa A. Smith, Dr. Taz, and today I want to talk with you about a woman that I've been following for quite some time. She's a woman who refused to let chronic pain write the final chapter of her story. She's a business owner. She was a hairdresser, has been a hairdresser for over 30 years. She's a mother. She's a bold advocate for social justice and a motivational voice who shows up daily to inspire thousands of people through social media. After battling debilitating pain, she discovered a groundbreaking technology that gave her life back. But more importantly, she discovered strength within herself that no diagnosis could touch. Please help me welcome Irene Vaksberg to Talk with Taz. Hello, Irene. How are you?
I'm already in tears here. I'm so honored. First of all, so honored. Even my little dog is honored. I'm sorry to be here. I've been following you for a couple of years yourself. We did some amazing things together, different events, and thank you. So honored to be here with you, and thank you for allowing me to share my story.
Well, your story is one that the audience needs to hear because I've been watching you and you do show up every day. And we know that every day is not a good day, but you show up. And I think that's so inspirational because we have to understand that we're going to have ups and downs. But if we continue to do our part, it'll sort of balance itself out. But we've got to do some work. So, Irene, take us back to the middle of your battling with this chronic pain. What was your lowest moment? You know, the moment when you felt like quitting would just be the easiest thing for you to do.
You know, the moment was when doctors told me they have no more options for me. That this is exactly what they said. Thank you so much, Miss Vaksberg. Get used to the pain. Your wheelchair will be waiting for you eventually. Let us know when you need a prescription filled, and the next prescription, or what is they call it, for epidural and cortisone shots. And I've had 9 epidurals, 4 cortisone shots. I even had a sympathetic nerve block referral. They said, let us know when is the next referral. And by that point, I was already in such a dark place, and losing my mindset, financial, mental, emotional, and a 12 years old daughter of mine taking care of me, and losing a 6-figure business as I built as a single mother. So my state of mind was already really weak. It's probably the first time ever in my life the glass wasn't overflowing. It was so empty, it was crumbling. So that was probably the what did they call it? The nail in the coffin. So English is my second language, and when I start getting excited and emotional, I forget to speak it.
But now, Irene, so help the audience to understand, how did we go from having a 6-figure business to then the doctors telling you basically you just need to get used to it and your wheelchair is going to be waiting for you? What caused this pain?
So on November 3rd, 15 years ago, 43rd birthday, I was going to go celebrate it. And a gentleman fell asleep behind the wheel. He wasn't drunk, just a tourist that was exhausting, 72 hours, time change, and T-boned us. And that's where my life changed forever from that moment. And again, the chronic pain didn't start overnight. The neglection of the doctors, chronic pain is really hard to figure it out because doctors cannot measure it, and I've learned about the invisible pain illnesses, right? If you come in with a broken arm or a wound, doctors are like, we know what to do. But when you come in and you say, my body is on fire, I cannot feel my feet, right? They're like, okay, here's a prescription for you. There's no way to measure it. So the neglecting was neglected. I was neglected. I felt like I was thrown like a sack of potatoes. And within 3 years, my neurological function, the part of the brain that was dealing with pain, basically was overwhelmed and released that pain and shaken in spasm. And it took a pain management doctor that deals with cancer patients. I went to see out of pocket because I was exhausted. Said, "Oh my God, Irene, your brainstem and the central nervous system is on overdrive. We just have to put it in homeostasis." And all of, I mean, I'm a hairdresser. I don't know this terminology, but I was so happy that somebody had something. There was something, a label. I was tested for all kinds of issues, and I was praying for some sort of a disease, as terrible as it sounds. Then I know the doctors could kind of take a step and
Yeah.
look, right? So this doctor said homeostasis, neurological balance, everything will come down. But the medicine didn't do anything except emptied my pocketbook.
Okay. So we've gone from a 6-figure salary to a car accident 15 years ago, and you began to have pain. The pain was misdiagnosed because, as you stated, when we have a broken limb, it's something that doctors can zero in on. But your pain, since the precipitating factor was the accident, no one is thinking that your pain is going to grow into what it grew into. So therefore, it was not managed. And as the cancer doctor said, that the spasms, and thank you, because I know that you shake, but I didn't realize there's spasms. So your body is spasming as its way of demonstrating the pain that it's experiencing. Let me try to clean that up a little bit. The nervous system, physical reaction, visual reaction to the pain that your body is feeling is the tremors and the spasms.
Yeah, so the way he explained that the pain didn't have any more space to go neurologically, right? And so it had to go somewhere to release it, but it caused more pain.
So it settled throughout your body.
Yes.
In essence.
Yeah. And so, you said, how did I go from 6 figures to this? Well, it's not good for a hairdresser.
No.
Sharp scissors in the blue. I've hit few people.
No. And I know it's taking you some time to be able to chuckle about it, Irene, but no, that was not a good look. Trying to cut someone's hair and your hands are shaking. Or or you just shampoo. It was not. And it's interesting that you say that, because I wasn't going to ask this question, but we live in a world where people judge us based upon our looks. And you were in the beauty industry. So, we sometimes shy away from anything that looks differently or behaves differently. So, after the accident, did you have a time where you were still trying to work before the spasms got so severe?
Oh, I worked through the whole entire time. Limited amount. So when I had an epidural, I had like 4 weeks of good.
That's true.
Right?
You had a nerve block.
Yeah, I'm still exhausted, still tired. The pain didn't go all the way out, still took meds, but the body was much more relaxed, right? But that didn't matter. The clients were going away. The limited amount of space I had, I can only do few clients. And then, there's no hard feelings. Imagine getting a hair color in the middle of the applying the color. I start shaking. I'm done. Because it could be 5 minutes or 5 hours. Yes. I didn't know what would trigger or what would stop. So no hard feelings. I get it. Yeah.
Well, now let me ask this. So what shifted inside of you that made you decide that giving up, though, was not an option? After you're trying to work through it, but as you say, once the spasms happened, you didn't know if they were going to last 5 minutes or 5 hours.
So until the doctors told me a wheelchair I'm a fighter. I've been through some difficult moments, and I was always able to get myself out of all kinds of things. And I've been through some stuff.
Mhm.
And, the faith was still strong.
Mhm.
Not as strong as when before the car accident, but, I was slowly losing it, but it was still okay.
Mhm.
But when doctors told me, you know, wheelchair, that's it, I was done. Like, because the faith was already so thin. And and I still prayed, and I still visualized. I used all my tools from the past and how I helped my clients. It's just a moment. Giving up is not an option. And I used to tell them, dig deep. And actually they told me the same thing in return. It was a beautiful full circle.
Mhm.
Like, they were my chile. I don't
Yes.
care, get your butt out, sorry.
Yeah,
And I
that's
keep my blood right. I don't care how long it takes. You have to do it, because I was so depressed, and they knew how much that made me feel good. So when all of those things still kept me going. But the moment the doctor said, we done with you, and I was already felt so alone and didn't have a lot of support. And that moment was just, it destroyed me. Like, it took everything out of me. And visualizing my beautiful daughter taking care of me for the rest of her life, I was just like, let me go. She'll cry for a minute, and then she'll be okay. But I mean, I'm full of life. I just could not
yes.
see myself in a wheelchair.
Well, and when you said you thought about your daughter, her having to take care of you for the rest of her life, because she was 12, that you were like, well, just let me go. Let me pass on so that I won't be a burden to her. Well, like you said, somebody said, well, they started feeding back to you the encouragement that you had given to them. Like you said, it was a full circle moment. People like dig deep, all that good stuff, but that realization that if you were going to live, you were going to be in a wheelchair, and your daughter was going to have to you eventually be in a wheelchair, and your daughter would have to take care of you, but you didn't let that define you. It's like it gave you superpowers. What did pain teach you that comfort never could?
Well, so pain taught me faith, right? So I prayed even though I didn't believe in it, and that gave me comfort. Even in my worst moments, I was like, God, I know you don't hear me. I know you're not working with me. Why are you doing this to me? And I had really mean conversations with God, but it still made me feel some sort of comfort. I don't know how to explain. As alone as I felt, as broken as I felt, as much as I didn't trust anything anymore, it's just so hard to explain. I still had this comfort.
Well, I don't know if I can say this, because I don't know if I can verbalize what I think you're saying. But we're in the flesh. So it's like there are two sides of us. They're sort of contradictory. I know God can I know God can do all things, but I I didn't believe that God could do all things for me or within me. Um, and so when you begin to realize that we are a contradiction and we are trying to balance the scales, um, but I'm still holding on to faith, though, that He's gonna do it. And at some point, though, with holding on to that faith, your story shifted from why is this happening to me? How am I going to make it? To maybe I've been planted. What helped you to make the shift, make that mental and spiritual shift that you were going to be okay?
So 8 years ago, I sat in my living room and I said, God, I'm done. I had bottles of pain meds, and I'm Russian. I go from tequila to vodka.
Mhm.
I like to eat this Russian girl like salsa and tequila. And I had a conversation with God again. I said, I'm done. I said, I am done. I said, I want to go. I said, please take me away. And God said, no, I need you to pray to stay. And I'm like, for what? A wheelchair? And he just wouldn't leave me alone. Like, it's, again, if you never had a conversation with God, it sounds weird, but I talk to him all the time, and he would just, like, the message for a whole entire week kept saying, Irene, I need you to pray. Irene, I need you to pray. So I said, I will pray for the miracle that I don't believe, because doctors told me there's nothing out there. So what what I also learned: be careful who you give your mindset to, in whose voice you're listening to, and in difficult moments, that becomes because if you're already giving up, that voice becomes your power, not the voice says keep going. And I was in my weakness, but God got me, and I said, okay, I'm going to pray for my wish list that I don't believe in, and you make a decision. It's up to you. I'm releasing myself. So what I've learned through sharing my story, I gave up. I didn't give up. I surrendered to the higher power, because I was so exhausted carrying this burden.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, God, it's up to you. So I did. I said, drug-free, non-invasive, no chemicals, no side effect. I said, I'm so tired of being poked and x-rayed. I said, affordable, because I have 2 pennies to my name. And I said, look, I have to make some money. If you're going to keep me and I'm going to be in wheelchair, I need something that I can still do and support my family. I'm a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I don't want to be in a wheelchair. If that's the key, take me. And I said, whatever you're sending me needs to be inexpensive to join, to use, and it has to have a mission, purpose, passion, and desire to help people first. I said, I will share the miracle everywhere I go. And I said, I will share the bigger testimony that I didn't have you, but you got me, even though I did not believe you and lost my faith. And I blessed it and I released it. And few months later, not even months, a friend of mine said, I found something. And I said, no. I said no, because I was so devastated already. And how do I explain that? I said no to the miracle, because the pain would be more worse that if it didn't work, than the pain that I was already in it. And
Mm-hmm.
I could not, I was so broken that I could not have another thing fail on me, because I felt so failed by everyone in my story, by everyone in my circle. So I could not be disappointed again. I had nothing left in me. Imagine praying to go. And yeah, and my dear friend sent the magic technology. It was in the form of a sock first, and it came to me in the worst time of my pain, because I was waiting for my 10th epidural so I can get it done and go to Europe. My case would be closed. And it changed my life. I put this product on and I stopped shaking. And you know something, you said the good and the bad, and the devil kept on saying, no, 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 don't believe it. It's not going to work. Not in the angel go, keep wearing it.
Ari, I just love you, and I cry all the time, but you said so much that I don't want the audience to miss it. We're talking about your situation, but there are so many times where our faith gets a little shaky, and you said it so eloquently. We're all cried out, we all prayed out, we all faithed out. I don't have any money, I don't have anything. And then somebody, or you see something, and it's like, that's it. And it's like, no, I can't. Because if I have one more disappointment, I don't know if I can get up again. That is such an honest statement. And if people are honest with themselves, if we're honest with ourselves, we experience that more often than we want to admit. that we just can't take one more disappointment. But you see, I've been told that's when the master comes in. You know, sometimes I call him that black man from Galilee, the one that walked out on the water. He calmed the raging sea. That's when he comes in when we're at our real lowest. We thought we was at our lowest earlier, but when the answer's right there, and it's like, I can't risk it because I understand where I am right now. I know how to exist in this space, but for something to knock on the door and it don't work, then how do I now readjust to the space that I had learned to be in? So what I'm hearing is that you weren't buried, even though it might have seemed like it. You were planted, and you really, the foundation was being dug deep through all of the stuff that you were going through. And like you said, we got that devil on this shoulder and got that angel on this shoulder. But the groundbreaking technology was right here. He just needed you to stay planted and also to make the commitment, because you made a covenant with him, and you have been sharing the good news to the masses, because there are other people who need this technology or who need to know that their current story is not the end. And that's what your story does for people. Whether they've got a different situation, it lets them know that no matter how desperate or empty you may feel, that you can still continue to go forward, because you do that every day.
Yes. And so through the experience, what I realized that I wasn't buried. I was planted. I was planted with faith and hope and strength. And I did a challenge many years ago, and this pastor said, it was so beautiful. Again, God intervention. I wasn't going to jump on it because it was Sunday. I wanted to relax. And this pastor said, God gave you this assignment because he knew you can get through it and then inspire others. And what he said, and it was just like, don't waste your pain. Use it to inspire others. Don't waste your scars. You earned them, and now you have to share them to inspire someone else. You were the chosen one. God knew that you might have been giving. And like, I felt like he was talking to me. I was like sobbing. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I wasn't even going to do it, but this little voice in my heart said, go listen. So yes, we are all planted for something incredible. But the thing is that we have to dig deep and go through that pain. In order for me to be here with you today and share this, I had to heal. I had to realize the car accident was a blessing. It wasn't a curse. It gave me a voice. It helped me share from things that I didn't even heal from, the things I didn't even know I need healing from.
Now that's, I'm sorry, Irene, I gotta say that that's a word right there. How one pain can be the door to you healing from stuff that you didn't even know you need to heal from.
Yeah. And find a voice that I didn't think I need or wanted. Like, I never wanted this. I was so happy having a beautiful community behind my chair. And let me tell you, these conversations were behind my chair. You didn't sit in my chair just for hair. We had a full-on therapy. And I had some clients going, Irene, I need to book this every week. So you just, I don't even care about the blow dry. We just need to cheat each other. You give me more advice than my $250 therapy. Yes. You only charge me $50 for a blow dry. So and I get a blow dry with it. So I'm like, hey, the tips work. Just add $200 more. So yeah, so it's been a journey. And people ask me, would you rather not go through it? No, because if I would have found this technology, even though magical, and many people, it's not just for pain, it's for everyone. If you're living, breathing, it's for you. But I would not have the same understanding. I could not relate to it the same. God said to me, well, for me, this path, you have to go through the pain in order to help others, because if we don't understand it, we can connect to the same level to that person that you're trying to help. So I had to learn all of this. Yes, I struggle. Yes, I don't make six figures. Yes, but you know something? I'm a six figure, wealthy in my spiritual, emotional empathy, right? Like
Yes.
empathy. Get six figures. It's 1,000 figures. I don't know
Yes.
even. My tank, emotional, spiritual, is so filled that there's nothing can prevent me from sharing.
Ari, I love what you said there about, because I've had people, and I've just made the statement that I wouldn't change my story because it made me who I am. So I
Yeah.
have to have that, because you can't become of the person that you are becoming without going through something. And as you said, it makes you more relatable. You can understand, you can connect to other people who are going through something similar. And that's, sometimes it's like rising from the flames. That's the phoenix that's rising, because we are a new person, but we're a new person for ourselves, first of all, but for other people. And, in my mind, it's like, stop surviving your story, start standing in it, because when that phoenix rises, they are rising in power. And we have power in our story. It's up to us to figure out what that power is and then how we utilize it for mankind. So, I've seen some of your posts. I know that you're very open about sharing your highs and your lows, because some days are better than others. What gave you that courage to even now, because we know the patch works, because there's a difference when you have on your patch, but what gives you the courage even now to stop hiding and standing loud in that story, standing loud in your power?
Because it's easy to show the best of us, right? And we have so much of it. I am the same person from on the social media and out of social media.
Mhm.
And for me, honesty is the best policy, right? As much as possible. I'm transparent. I'm an open book. It wouldn't be who I am if I didn't share the struggle as my wins. And what happens is so many of us only share our wins, and then people think we cannot do it. Like, in every life, right? People are shining bright. They're like all empowered, and they're loud, and they're proud, as should they be. But they're not showing 20 people behind them, right? That holding that camera, doing their social media posts,
Yes.
hiring a manager. I am one woman show, and I
Mhm.
want to show that you can still shine bright as a one woman person, right? I
Mhm.
don't have I don't have a six-figure financial support from social media, right? I don't have a big community that supports me, and I walk alone. I mean, I have a community, but I'm
I know what
saying
you mean. Mhm.
still walk alone. And for those people that feel, well, I work with me, myself, and I'm never alone. But I'm
Mhm.
saying that I wanted to show the struggle is real, but also the success of a minimum community support and not a whole entire PR firm behind you. And most of us, especially I'm a single mother, I want to show that single mothers, fathers can do it. Okay. And as an immigrant, it's even more important to me to use my voice to show I don't care you speak funny. I speak funny all the time. You see my post.
Mhm.
There's no dots, there's no capitals, it's run on sentence, but the message is loud and proud, and people hear it and understand it. So show up as you are. Your own unique self needs to be seen. And so that's where I come from, right? That I'm good enough with messy hair
Mhm.
and a t-shirt, some jeans. I'm booking it down because I
Yes.
can now. I couldn't do that before.
Yes.
And the message comes through no matter what. And stop hiding, start shining. That's the message.
Well, you told the people, for anyone who's listening, you just said it, who feels they've been buried, they've overlooked, they're in the survival mode, they're in that desperate mode. Stop hiding. Embrace your story and embrace your power. and be transparent, knowing that there are going to be some good days and bad days. And I get what you're saying. Um, it's we're in a world now where it's going to be even more crucial for us to show up as our authentic self because of technology. And, perfect is good, but perfect ain't always good because we're human beings. And you're right. When people just show up the best of themselves all the time, it gives that person who's looking for some inspiration, they don't find it because they know that they're not perfect and they don't see people struggling. We all have struggles. And that's what I like about you, Irene. You share that struggle, and your struggle is a visual struggle that people can see it.
And,
So that,
and that, and when people see me dancing, they don't realize I'm the same person. So I'm constantly have to reshare it to say, no, 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 I don't shake anymore. I don't need this technology anymore. But I will never stop worrying because I know what it does. But this is how far I have come. So you can come from that to this, right? Right, from that to this, baby steps, like really baby steps, keep going. And and if you're living in chronic pain, be graceful with yourself, give yourself grace. You don't have to show up big all the time. And when I showed up and wasn't my worst, I explained I don't feel really good, but I still wanted to motivate you. Be gentle with yourself, right? Be gentle with yourself. You can take time off and make sure that you refill your cup. Most of us are running on an empty, and stop doing that.
yeah. Now y'all know I be running on empty. Irene done told me that most of us running on empty, and she done said, "Ty, stop doing that." So that means y'all got to stop doing it too.
Oh,
But you're right.
yeah.
We're running on empty. Stop doing it. Be gentle with ourselves. Give ourselves some grace. Now, Irene, I know that folks are going to want to know how they can stay in contact with you and also find out more about this technology. As I said, as you said originally, it was just the socks. Now they have the patches because I know folks are going to want to know what else can this technology do? So how can folks stay in touch with you so that they can find out more about this technology that has really changed your life?
Well, thank you so much. So basically, it's for everyone. It literally just puts your essential nervous system in balance. It's like turns on the light. So it's not about it's all about the side effects, right? It's all about what you're tired. So you need some better quality of sleep, pain, stability, mobility, balance, focus, cognitive function. There's just this immune system, 15 patches. Can put it on your child, on your grandma, and everyone in between. And I'm everywhere. Facebook, Instagram. I mean, just Google me. You can find me on every platform. And I don't even know the names of them. Everywhere. Everywhere. Like I promised God, I will be sharing. He answered my prayers, even though I didn't believe in him. So I'm everywhere spreading awareness. Technology is one thing, but my biggest message is that God got you, even though you don't have your him or yourself. Keep praying, keep praying, keep praying.
That you left us with our, they like to call it that CTA, that call to action. God has got us. And just keep praying, keep praying, keep praying. And that the answer is on the way, as they say in the South, it's on the way. But you got to keep your hand in his hand, and God will do the rest. And Irene, thank you so very much for being a part of Talk with Taz today. You have blessed me, and I know that you have blessed the audience. And to my audience, thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, you know the deal. Before you go trying to take care of someone else, please make sure you take care of yourself first. Bye now.